Greetings, Earthlings. I honestly don't even know where to begin with this. So anyway, I'm Zube. If you're interested in a personal reading, astrology or tarot, my information is down below. And it's been a little bit. I've had quite a week, and I think that is fairly universal. So really quick, there's mundane astrology and personal astrology. So what I'm going to talk about, mundane astrology, is where all of the planets are currently, and that influences the collective, basically the fucking world. And then personal astrology is wherever the planets are now, they influence the chart when you were born. And so where the planets are right now is directly influencing my own personal chart. So I'm like extra feeling this. But if you're not feeling this personally, you might be seeing it go on around you, or, you might even be, depending on where your planets were when you were born, if the current planets are aspecting your planets from your birth chart favorably, you might be doing all right. However, you could be like kung fu, like dodging the shit that's flying off the fan. And this is going to look different for everybody, okay? But we have the sun in Scorpio, and Scorpio is intense. It's a water sign. So it's deep emotional stuff. Even my voice got like extra deep when I said that. So we're feeling deeply emotional, and kind of burrowing into like the secrets within us, and what is hidden with us and other people, and really penetrating into our emotions. And the sun is coming into a square with Saturn. It also today squared the moon. And the moon is our emotions. So the moon is in Leo right now. So we have the sun, which is like our heart, our, the expressiveness, in Scorpio, which is feeling deeply emotional. And then we have the moon in Leo. And the moon in Leo is, we're wanting to be individual. We're wanting to express ourselves, right? And both of them were squaring Saturn in Aquarius. And Saturn in Aquarius, basically, I'm going to tell you what this feels like to me. And when I say like the chart feels like, this isn't exactly how it felt for me personally, although, yeah, like, anyway, I'm looking at the bigger picture with my eyes closed. It's like we want to understand, we want to emotionally feel loved and accepted for, like, even for our darkness, okay? And the outside of us, whatever is dark and hidden, is being shown to us, okay? And that could hurt our pride. So here's what I do. And this like, I consider it, I'm evolving in this way, when the outside is like chaotic, and it's honestly kind of felt like, now I'm what is that game where like things pop up and you have a big hammer and you try to smack them down or whatever, but then another one pops up. And everything that I've had pop up in my experience, if I don't like it, I always turn inwards, and I'm like, it's because it's hidden in me somewhere, and I love digging that stuff up, but it's not easy. So like on the outside, the world might not look right. at the moment, we might not like it. We may not like what we're seeing. There's a story that I thought of, and this isn't from recent, it's from a while ago, but it kind of sums this up perfectly. So once upon a time, I had a confrontation, and it was after I had started to grow spiritually and really take personal responsibility for my life and all of that. And I had a confrontation, an encounter, and I was told that I had ruined someone's life, right? And I was like, you're right. And there were other things that had been said in that conversation. And I said, you're right to everyone. But that one really struck me, because the reason I was saying you're right is because I didn't want to argue. And also, I'm not going to argue with someone's experience. If they're sharing their experience with me, and it's not necessarily in a way that is meant to be discussed, you're right. Like, your experience is your experience. But when they said you ruined my life, I was like, wow, okay, you're right. But here's the crazy thing. I thought this person ruined my life, right? And then I was like, oh my God, I ruined my life. And here's where I'm going with this. The person I was speaking to was ruining their own life and using me as a mirror for that, because a lot of times a ruined life is only the thoughts that you're thinking in your head. Like, well, I don't like the way that this looks, and I don't like the way that that looks. And I don't like how this is showing up for me, but it is what it is, okay? And the even more interesting thing about this is that the person whose life was ruined had literally everything that I wanted, and I didn't have anything that I wanted. And it was like they stood in front of everything that I wanted was behind them. And that's okay. Like I'm saying, that's fine, because that's where they were. But I was like, wow, like, your life is ruined and you have all of that. And then I turned it around on me again, and I was like, oh my gosh, I thought my life was ruined. And I have all of this. I'm being cryptic because you don't have to know the details, but it was like, oh my goodness, we were totally ruining our own fucking lives while staring at each other, is what I'm saying. Okay. So if you're having a hard time right now, like we have Saturn opposing the moon has just had a rough time. We just had this morning the third quarter moon. So in about a week, we're going to have the new moon in Scorpio. And it's gonna look messy and fucked up on the outside. And the difficult thing to do, but I feel the right thing to do, is to clean it up on the inside, to search for it. If, like I said this here once before, but it's one of my favorite sayings that I learned in AA. If you spot it, you got it. But yeah, it has just been a rough week. I've been really busy and I haven't posted anything. And so, because it's been a rough week, I kind of giggle sometimes, because when I was more watching astrology videos than doing astrology videos myself, every once in a while an astrologer would go missing. And especially in the spiritual community, like we should support one another when we need rest or when life comes up, you know. There's so many things out there to do and see, and nobody is a guru. I mean, nobody is your end all be all. It's about us, right? But people would get so mad and they would be like, why haven't you posted a video? Or da-da-da. And in my head, I'm like, you know, did you see the one yesterday about what the fucking planets are doing? Like maybe it's affecting them. But yeah, so I definitely give myself grace with that. I busted out my Bob Ross. This up. I have a Bob Ross deck, and it's just a regular deck. So I'm gonna pull a couple cards and see what comes out. And it's really cute because it has Bob Ross quotes on it. Let me think about this. Diamonds are spades. You know, oh, right. Diamonds are pentacles. Yeah. Spades are swords. Okay. I'm so tired. I moved, by the way. P.S. I moved. And I'm finally done. It's taken about a week and a half. So we have the Jack of Clubs. That's the Knight of Wands. Just let your imagination go. You can create all kinds of beautiful effects just that easy. All right, ready? Yes. When everything is chaos around me, I was telling somebody the other day that I've been experimenting with like stepping back and getting centered again when things are really chaotic. Because when things are really chaotic on the outside, it's because I'm feeling chaotic on the inside. And so, and I do this intention setting thing where I get to, I like emotionally come to a place where everything is calm, everything is okay, everything is okay and peaceful. And it's manifesting sort of, and it'll happen for me pretty immediately. Things will settle down. And so just let your imagination go. You can create all kinds of beautiful effects just that easy. We are creating our own reality. And when I get fired up inside and tense or like angry or frustrated, it's almost cartoonish how quickly it comes back to me, reflected in the mirror that is my reality. But when I come to a place where I'm calm, then everything kind of, the dust settles. And I might still have a lot to do, but there is not that internal chaos. Yes. The king, yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we got the king of clovers. What the fuck are they called? This is the king of wands, right? So here we have the Jack of Wands. The Jack is the knight. The knight is teenager energy, right? It hasn't quite mastered anything in the regular tarot deck. The knights are on horses, you know, they go off to war, they're charged, they're kind of like immature, whereas the king is sitting in a throne. And the king has mastered the qualities of the wands are creativity. Let's see what the saying is. If I paint something, I don't want to have to explain what it is. Oh my goodness. It's like the king has figured this out. I created this mess, right? That's another thing too. If I you know, for example, if I like call my mom or if I call my boyfriend and be like, this happened and it like things get worse. Okay. But if I go within and I don't feed any more energy to complaining or all that, there is a place for releasing some energy. Okay. For me, it comes from a different place in my body. You know, if I call when I'm frustrated or so it's like if you just want to like give it to somebody else, it feels different. Like it's churning in my stomach and then it comes out. But if I come to a place where I take a deep breath and I'm really just processing my experience, you know, then that's different, right? Like I am trying to understand what has transpired and what is going on. And at times it is better to have a sounding board for that. So that's different. But the king, I also go to the universe or I go to my guide Larry and I'm like, okay, what's about this? You know, what is this about? And I work with it. And I get curious about it. So, and that's the more masterful, that's the king's way of doing things and not, I just think it's funny. It says, I don't want to have to explain what it is. So you don't need to call up like 4 or 5 different friends and tell them all of your problems because then you're feeding that energy. And I'm not saying to bottle it up. Emotions and stuff do need to come out, you know, that anger and frustration. So it's not about burying it at all, but it's not about feeding it either or passing it on to somebody else. I kind of want to, I'm going to do an oracle as well. Yeah, we're going to do some emotional learning, or we're not. And it's just going to be kind of a chaotic, rough week where we're trying to perfect the outside world to eliminate the suffering that we are feeling inside. And really, we need to go inside and look at the suffering from that point of view. Okay. Taurus. Taurus takes care of themselves. You know, they like to feel comfortable. That's also being stubborn. Uranus is in Taurus right now. Taurus values themselves. So you don't look to the outside world for validation of who you are or that you, or for your self-worth or that you want to feel good. Stubbornly, and Uranus, because Uranus is in Taurus, independently, higher-mindedly, value yourself and look at yourself and what are you looking for? What is it that you want to do and create in your world? And that starts in here, not by manipulating others, not by changing others. It starts within you. Anyway, now I have the hiccups. I hope you have a great week on Earth. I do hope to be around here a little bit more, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace. Namaste.